Welcome to Crime Maze. In this video we are going to talk about 5 unsolved mysteries with mysterious photos. Before starting this video, like this video and subscribe to Crime Maze channel for future updates. Thousands of families are left in limbo every year when a loved one goes missing unexpectedly. When Malaysia Airlines Flight 370 vanished from the skies 5 years ago this March, investigators were unable to make sense of the tragedy due to a lack of clues, robbing more than 200 families of closure. It's one of a slew of unexplained events that have perplexed police and haunted the relatives left behind. Other unsolved cases range from those that the FBI has given up on, such as the almost 50-year-old search for legendary criminal D.B. Cooper, to those that are still open, such as the search for Indiana University student Lauren Spierer, who went missing in 2011. Time has revisited a century's worth of unsolved disappearances, and here are 5 of the most enigmatic cases. Number 5. Malaysia Airlines Flight 370. On March 8, 2014, more than 200 people on board Malaysia Airlines Flight 370 appeared to vanish mid-flight, in what is possibly the most perplexing and terrible aviation mystery of all time. Despite government officials embarking on an extraordinary air and sea search involving numerous countries and lasting at least 3 years, the plane and the 239 passengers remain missing. It's also unclear what caused the commercial airliner to abruptly deviate from its intended path. The journey began as usual when the Beijing-bound Boeing 777 aircraft, carrying 12 crew members and 227 passengers, took off on time from Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. However, it vanished shortly after a normal turnover of air traffic control equipment. Instead of flying to its intended destination, the plane circled back across the Malaysian peninsula and landed in the southern Indian Ocean, according to officials. Lead investigator Kok Soo Chan claimed no cause could be identified or ruled out during a news conference last summer following the release of the latest safety investigation report into the incident. "We are unable to conclude with any certainty the reason that the aircraft diverted due to the considerable lack of evidence available to the team," he said. The aircraft systems were turned off manually at some time. However, there were no signs that the flight's pilots had purposefully cut off communication. According to Kok, in a 60 Minutes Australia segment in May 2018, some aviation experts disputed this finding. According to investigators, there was also the potential that a third party interjected illegally. However, Kok pointed out that no one has claimed responsibility for the crime since then. Who would do it for no reason? He wondered. Number 4. D.B. Cooper. A passenger on a Seattle-bound aeroplane was hijacked nearly 50 years ago before leaping out of the moving plane with a parachute and $200,000 in ransom money. The daredevil, later known as D.B. Cooper, has avoided authorities and is on the verge of becoming a legend. According to FBI documents, Cooper purchased a one-way aircraft ticket on Northwest Orient Airlines Flight 305 on Nov. 24, 1971, at an airport counter in Portland. The passenger, dressed in a suit and tie, didn't seem suspicious when he ordered a bourbon and soda while waiting for the plane to take off. Cooper delivered one of the flight attendants a note stating that he had a bomb in his briefcase shortly after the plane took off. He requested 4 parachutes and $200 in $20, which he received once the flight landed in Seattle, and the other 36 passengers were released. Cooper ordered the flight crew to fly to Mexico City, while keeping many members of the crew on board. The hijacker, however, stunned both his hostages and federal investigators when he abruptly leaped out of the plane's back long before it reached Mexico. Cooper is not believed to have survived, according to the FBI, though this has never been proven. He did not appear to be a competent skydiver, according to investigators, because he jumped from more than 5,000 feet under dangerous conditions. He wasn't dressed properly for a safe landing, either. Cooper, wearing loafers and a trench coat, plunged into a wooded area at night while it was raining with 200 mph winds, according to FBI data. Law enforcement authorities and amateur internet sleuths alike are still intrigued by the historic incident. However, his identity and fate may remain a secret for the rest of his life. The FBI declared in 2016 that it will no longer be actively investigating the cold case, ending one of the longest and most thorough investigations in U.S. history. Number 3. Jimmy Hoffa. When labor leader Jimmy Hoffa went missing in 1975, it set off one of the FBI's longest-running organized crime investigations in Detroit. His disappearance has piqued popular attention for decades and has been the subject of numerous Hollywood blockbusters. He is still missing after more than 40 years. Hoffa was best known for managing the Teamsters Union, which represents freight drivers, warehouse workers, and other American workers, and for receiving mercy from President Richard Nixon. According to Time, in 1971, the former commander-in-chief shortened Hoffa's 13-year prison term, allowing him to leave a federal prison in Pennsylvania, where he was spending time for jury manipulation and fraud. He had barely been free for roughly 4 years when he vanished from a Michigan restaurant where he was allegedly meeting with mafia executives. Many people believe the prominent union boss was assassinated, citing his criminal record and the possibility that he had enemies. The Irishman, a new Netflix film starring Robert De Niro and Al Pacino, is about a mob hitman who may have been involved in Hoffa's assassination. While Hoffa was formally pronounced dead in 1982, allowing his children to receive his estate, his body was never found, and his case is still under investigation. According to an FBI spokesman, federal investigators were still looking for his remains in 2013 when they dug for 3 days in a field near Detroit, expecting to find new evidence. The search was once again fruitless. According to Reuters, Robert Foley, then head of the FBI's Detroit field office, said at the time, "Of course we're dissatisfied." Number 2. Amelia Earhart. Historians and explorers are still trying to unravel the mystery of Amelia Earhart's disappearance more than 80 years after she vanished while attempting to fly around the world. When Earhart and navigator Fred Noonan set out on what they anticipated would be the first around-the-world journey in 1937, they had previously broken limits as the first woman to fly solo over the Atlantic Ocean. The two had set out from New Guinea for Holland Island, a distant island in the Pacific Ocean, traveling more than 22,000 miles and completing nearly two-thirds of the historic journey before running out of gasoline. On July 2, 1937, they vanished somewhere over the Pacific Ocean. Rescuers searched for Earhart and her companion for 2 weeks, but they were never located. Despite the lack of substantial breaks in the case, Earhart was ruled legally dead by a court decision in 1939. According to one analyst, Earhart's death may have been legally reported so that her husband could remarry. Her fate has remained a mystery and a source of discussion to this day. Number 1. Lauren Spierer. Lauren Spierer, an Indiana University student, vanished in 2011 and shocked several college campuses across the United States. The 20-year-old went missing after spending the early morning in a downtown bar in Bloomington, Indiana, according to authorities. On June 3, 2011, she was last spotted strolling alone outside a classmate's off-campus apartment at 4:30 a.m. It launched a worldwide manhunt, prompting several celebrities, including comedian Stephen Colbert and reality star Kim Kardashian, to use social media to raise awareness about the missing young woman. Investigators have been unable to locate her for nearly 8 years, and numerous leads have led to dead ends. From every viewpoint, it's a difficult case, said Michael Saravallo, a private investigator hired by Spierer's family in 2011. Saravallo told Time, "Everything that may make it difficult has popped out in front of us." Saravallo said his team ran across a number of barriers, including a lack of cooperation from the local police department and a group of young males with whom Spierer spent the majority of her time the day she vanished. Private investigators are still following up on key leads as they emerge, according to Saravallo, but no meaningful progress has been made. He claims there are no evidence that Spierer is still alive at this time. Despite the grim prognosis, he and Spierer's parents are desperate to get the truth about what happened to her. Saravallo declared, "I'm never going to give up. It's as though I'm hunting for a relative. It's become really personal and near and dear to my heart. All I want to do now is offer them closure." Meanwhile, Spierer's parents pine for their daughter, who they claim enjoyed lacrosse and Valentine's Day celebrations. Spierer's mother Charlene wrote a touching tribute to her daughter on Facebook on what would have been her 28th birthday this January. As she does every year on the same day, she wrote, "I miss you with every breath." What do you think about this video? Do let us know down in the comments section below. If you enjoyed this video and want to hear from us again, be sure to hit that subscribe button before you go.